Yippee-ki-FIA, you motherfuckers. You guys look like a bunch of suckers with the British media up your cluckers. Prior to these events taking place, we had quali, where Lando failed in front of his home crowd to start on the second row, while Big Bad Max laid down a statement.
Speaking of big bad, when is Flavio finally going to drop that Argentinian?
When the green goes out, we have a lopsided grid with half of the inside line cars electing to pit for dry tyres on a wet track. Lawson shuts the door on Ocon and takes himself out of the race. But it's not his fault. Lawson's racing might not be good, but his blame game is top notch.
Lawson's gaslighting has reached Season 5 Walter White levels.
After numerous safety cars and VSCs, Oscar continues to dominate harder than the 90s Bulls. But the FIA, which stands for Fully Inept Authority, steps in and calls a competition caution for the spray, then proceeds to release the cars with just as much spray, which leads to another safety car.
The scriptwriters didn't even try to hide it this time. Wait, did I see a Starbucks cup?
Lucky Lando lands the lead after a ludicrous launch from his teammate and a lackluster loop from Max. Wait. Chris, did you fact check this?
Yes.
And you're telling me Maxi Pad spun out? Max must be more corrupt than Alonso Harris training Jake Hoyt that day.
Have you ever had your shit pushed in?
No comment. Anyway, Oscar is handed a catastrophic 10-second time penalty, and voila, no more safety cars or VSCs for the remainder of the race. Funny that. Lando goes on to win and acts as if he has earned it, but honestly, the spotlight was stolen by one Nico Hulkenberg, who held off the real hometown hero, Prince Lulu, to take his first career podium, and we wasted it last week.
Even MJ wouldn't have put money on that shit.
Good evening, Timothy.
Howdy, partner.
Welcome to Box Banter.
Thanks for having me.
Timothy,
Whatever you want.
Teabag.
That'll work. Teabag.
From now on, you'll be known as Teabag then. I like it.
All right.
Yep.
Teabag.
Anyway, Teabag. We've got some business.
We've spent
to
some
discuss.
time teabagging on the old Halo. Just plenty of time.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's not uncommon. Not an uncommon phrase between the two of us.
You haven't, because you're not that good, so you never get to do it. So,
I'd follow you around. I teabag the people that you've took down.
oh, and you teabag them for me.
Just
Yeah,
upset 'em.
okay.
Just a really grind their gears.
No, I know how much you do appreciate a good teabag. So.
I do. I love it.
Anyway, it's time to discuss the 2025 Bias Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Bias Grand Prix? Wait, did I fuck that up?
Bias works.
Yeah, okay. All right.
What do you got? Because bias works fine.
Yeah, no, I did write British. That was, yeah, my bad. My
Okay.
bad.
Slip of the tongue.
This is really exciting. So, you know who Oscar came onto the radio and he said he couldn't say some things because he might get banned.
Mm-hmm.
This is really exciting. We have found what he was going to say and we've deciphered it.
Okay.
So it's an exclusive. So this is pretty big for the podcast.
So what he was going to say. So did he tell someone what he was
Basically
going to say?
what he withheld from the radio.
Okay.
Yeah. And then
all right. That is exciting.
and then he said it later. And
wow.
we through connections we got that info.
Ascertained it.
So do you want to hear?
Yeah, give it to me.
All right. This is what he couldn't say due to fear of being banned. The FIA can suck a fat one. They saw how silly I was making them pommies look in the wet and deployed the safety car to help them out at home. When did everyone get so scared of a little rain? I managed it fine despite these nuts. Does mummy still need to hold your hand when you need to make PP2? If you can't handle the rain, maybe Formula 1 just isn't for you, and you should take up golf or something else just as irrelevant.
You know what?
Except for Hulk.
Oh, sorry.
He was the only other man among boys. I'm sorry. Did I say boys? I meant bitches. Well said. Well said there by Oscar. And I don't know about you, but I stand with him.
I like it. I like this shadowy Oscar.
Yeah,
I like this untucked.
He's showing a bit of colour, isn't he?
Away from the cameras, Oscar.
He's no longer the ice boy or whatever they were trying to call him.
Ice boy.
He's got some.
He's a grown man.
Yeah, he's got some rage inside him.
Grown man balls.
Yeah. Anyway, in all seriousness.
And that was the source was Chris, was it? Chris was the source of that.
Well, Chris helped us get that information. Yeah. So
Awesome,
shout out to
awesome.
Chris. But,
Legend.
yeah, in all seriousness, was the penalty just? Was it fair?
I knew something was coming. As soon as they showed the onboard, I knew something was coming.
Mhm.
But I feel like 10 seconds, it seems like a lot. For what? For what, really? He didn't cause Max to spin, so you can't say he disadvantaged another driver.
Well, that's the thing, right? The only reason it was dangerous is because Stroll was in the pack, and we know
Yeah.
how he can be under
That's-
safety
and
car
that- yeah,
conditions.
They
so,
they penalised him for something that didn't happen,
mm.
based on something that could have happened. And, if you ask him, he's got a perfectly reasonable excuse.
Well, they gave him 10-second penalty, which was pretty harsh, and that basically eliminated any chance of him winning the race.
If they gave him a 5, like he finished
Well, at least
4
it's still
seconds
race on,
behind him.
right? Yeah. And I think, as far as I know, they slapped him with 2 penalty points as well. So, yeah, they definitely definitely came down hard.
What did Max get for intentionally crashing into George?
10 seconds.
Okay, yeah. So he actually made contact with the car, 100% without a doubt, intentional.
Maliciously. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Oscar, innocently, and you got to trust his word. We didn't see the footage of when the safety car lights turned out, but he was doing what he felt like he could do within the rules, and no one crashed. Max did it on his own, his situation.
Well, yeah, he kamikaze George.
Yeah,
like-
but I mean, spinning in this race
yeah,
after
yeah,
the
okay,
restart,
yeah,
like that had
yeah.
nothing to do with that. Well, Oscar did. No one else spun. Everyone
No.
else had to check up.
Yep.
Just because every other car decided to speed away when he did, it's still, we all drive on the road. It's never the first car's fault. You got to react to the first car who's on the brakes. So,
Well, that's right.
but I knew something was coming.
Yeah, you could just feel it was I don't know. You just know that. Okay, I guess you got to put it this way: they're going to look for anything, right, to pull you down, and you just can't give them anything. And it does seem like he didn't have any malicious intent. He wasn't trying to be tricky or whatever.
No, as much as Brundle kept saying, I know what he's doing. I know what he's doing.
Well, he's doing what
cool.
any driver would do. He's warming up his brakes. He's warming up
Yeah.
his tires, and it worked because Max didn't warm up his tires well enough,
exactly.
and literally at the first corner,
Yeah.
he spun it. He lost it. So yeah, I don't think that there was any I don't know, any maliciousness in it. I think that it was just bad timing, just unfortunate timing. But unfortunately, that little lapse was enough to take away the win, and it's a shame to see a race be resulted because of a penalty.
100%.
Like, it just shouldn't happen. I mean, if there was contact and there was an actual crash, then fair enough. Okay, that proves it was dangerous.
Yeah.
But nothing happened. Really, just Max overshot Oscar. Every other car managed fine.
So you got to wonder, if Max doesn't spin, A, do they look at it so hard, and B, do they give him a 10 second? Do they give him a 5 second?
Yeah.
Do they look at that and go, we kind of have to do something here because his actions, net effect had this,
Yeah.
effect on the race. So
I love how when these sorts of things happen, everyone comes out and they're all of a sudden an expert on, safety car procedures, and everyone's talking about 30 PSI braking and 60 PSI. It's like, please, you don't even know what that fucking means.
did they give a number for Oscar?
Apparently it was 60, just under, a tick under. But everything only works with context. So then you'd have to look at that in relation to race braking. And as far as I know there, it was well under half the pressure as well. So yeah, I don't know. He definitely feels like he was robbed without actually saying it. He definitely feels that he earned the win and it was taken away from him.
He had the absolute outright pace.
He did. He was very impressive out there. So I feel for the guy.
Isn't it funny? Now we've had 2 Lando wins in a row, and both, it's more about how Oscar lost it, or how it got away from Oscar.
Yeah.
Not so much how Lando won it.
No, and to me, that's why it's so black and white, right? That I'm not worried, because I think the evidence is still there that Oscar's the better driver. Lando has all the luck right now, and that is concerning, because you do need a lot of luck to win a world championship,
And the British
and he's
bias
just got
behind
so
it as
much
well,
of it. Oh yeah,
clearly.
and
And if it's ever going to rear its head, it's at the Silverstone Grand Prix.
yeah, everything just fell perfectly in place for him to snatch it. So, anyway, question for you: why does Formula One bring wet tires to every Grand Prix if they refuse to use them? What's the thinking there?
It's a good question.
Like,
Why they pulled the safety car out when no one had a crash, mind you, because of the spray and the mist, when they still have another set of tyres to go. That's what I can't understand. Like, put the onus on the drivers and the teams to make the decision, like, oh, it's sketchy, let me put the wets on.
race to the conditions.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And if you're going to risk it and go, I feel like we can just stick out to the inters and you crash, well, that's your fault.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. If that's what racing is now, shit, pay me $5 million. I'll go just do laps behind the safety car.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure anyone could do that. But these guys are supposed to be the best in the world, and you're telling me that they can't handle a little bit of wet weather?
Yeah, exactly.
And they haven't
it was
even
only-
gone over to the wet tire? Like, I
Yeah.
get that these cars have huge amounts of downforce and they kick up a lot of spray. But at the end of the day, you got to drive to the conditions.
Yeah.
You know, if I have to go to work, I still drive to work. I just drive a little bit
Yeah.
slower.
Yeah.
I drive a little bit safer. I avoid puddles. I avoid any potential hazards, right? I got to
Yeah.
get to work still.
Yeah.
These guys, they're just like...
And that's what it should be. That's exactly what it should be. You know, you take the risk and you reap the rewards or you don't.
it's become a bit of a nanny sport.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, they just took all the zest out of it. I mean, Oscar had a 13-second lead.
should we start like watching the tennis or something?
No. No. Like, as good as...
I know you'd secretly like that.
Yeah. As good as a 13-second lead is, or as early as on in the race as it was, like a 13-second lead. Like, you're not undoing that in a hurry.
No, he was very comfortable.
Yeah.
The race was his, like well and truly his. He had set off down the road. I mean, even if people can spin anything anyway, and you could say that Lando looked fast at the end of the race, but if you look at comparison to the start of the race in the most hazardous conditions, who looked the most comfortable out there? Oscar passed Verstappen, one of the hardest drivers to pass on the grid today.
Yeah.
Lando got stuck behind him. He could not make the move on him, and it wasn't until Verstappen finally made a mistake and just basically let Lando through, once again gifted another spot.
And that was the difference. If Max holds him up 5-6 laps like he did, Oscar 10-second gap, no worries. Or 8-second competitive gap.
It's just so, like, I get that there is an element of a chance to these things, right? But it just feels super strange that a driver can be so dominant in such conditions like these and, you know, basically have the race in the bag, and then a safety car just nullifies everything. And and it wasn't even a safety car for any reason. If someone had crashed and gone into a wall and there was bits and pieces everywhere, that 100%.
And
That's a safety issue.
This is the funny thing is
we
they-
do something. Why not red flag it?
Yeah.
Why not? You know, why are we spending so much time behind a safety car not racing? Millions of people don't tune into cars to not race.
Yeah.
So that's one part of it. But then the second part is in terms of like I'm losing my train of thought now because I'm just angry.
Well, I think the funny thing is that they call the safety car out for the conditions.
Yeah.
They kind of let it go for 5 laps. They go again, and the spray's enormous. And I think they talked about that in the cool down room. Like, still couldn't see after that. And then it led to someone crashing.
Yeah.
And then the restart that inevitably ruined Oscar's race.
Because you got the field more bunched up, right? It's not now spread out to kind of maybe mitigate some of that mist. But what I was going to say is, why did they resort to the safety car? Like, why can't it be a VSC?
Yeah.
Everyone just slows down to whatever it is, 40% speed.
That's exactly
That'll
a good
help get
point.
water off the track. It's not kicking up all that space, and it keeps everything fair.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a good point. I didn't think of that.
yeah. So like they have these tools, but again, they chose the one that benefited Lando the most. Who had the most to gain here? It was Lando.
That's super interesting. Really love that. Because you're right. That way, that is exactly what they should have done. I mean,
There
they
wasn't a
love...
hazard on track.
No, they love throwing the VSC out at any time they can to avoid the safety car. And in this case, they didn't need a full safety car. All they needed to do was slow the cars down.
Yeah.
And even if they slowed them down, you still had the field spread where Oscar is 13 seconds down the road. All right, Norris can still drive around and not have to be affected by the spray.
Yeah.
And they're all at separate parts of the track dispersing the spray.
Yeah. I know, I'm a
Nailed.
genius.
That's exactly what they should have done.
I'm a
I never
genius.
even thought of that until now.
All right, so
That's
look,
made me madder. It really has made
Yeah.
me madder.
I think, yeah, I mean, it is easy just to make excuses and say bias and whatever. But at the end of the day, you have to look at the facts and you have to look at what happened. I do agree that Piastri was probably owed a penalty of some sort. I feel it was too harsh though, and it just ripped the win away from him. There's a difference between a win earned and a win gifted. Lando, he still had to be in it to get the win,
But
but he fell ass backwards into it.
he shouldn't have been
And-
in it without that safety car.
And he, like, is he happy winning that way? Is
He
it
was.
like
He was stoked.
only his fans will see it the other way? Only his fans will say like, oh, you know, he's world championship material,
Yeah,
and
he
look at
didn't
all this
make that
confidence he
mistake.
has.
Yeah.
He didn't make the mistake, but you have to look at everything else around it, and it's not the case at all. He wasn't the fastest driver. He wasn't very comfortable in the conditions. He had dropped 15 seconds behind Oscar, and it took all of these things to fall into his
even to the
advantage
point where we
to get the win.
Didn't get like we started. They did the formation lap under the safety car. Which safety car straight away. VSC. We had like 2 safety cars and 2 VSCs plus the formation lap safety car by like the 50% mark.
Yeah.
As soon as us gets a penalty, like he wouldn't. He really didn't need a safety car until he served it. But of course, we go the rest of the race with no safety car. Like
Of course.
if he'd pitted in that last 5 laps, says safety car. All right, fair game. You're back in line.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
safety car VSC, nothing comes. Even though there was debris on the track, like they had reasons to call it.
But they didn't want to, did they?
No.
Okay. Nico Hulkenberg, we have to talk about the Hulk.
This is the first time I'm stoked to talk about him.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. What do you like? Did you ever expect that? I don't know. I didn't.
No.
I think you asked me last night. He must have the record for the most Grand Prix.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, and he does. The 239.
Yeah, because he's off the
Without
list
a
now.
podium.
He's off that list now.
Yeah. So good on him. Good on Sauber. I think that's an example of how the rain can be the ultimate equalizer. Sauber executed the perfect strategy for him.
And who would have thought? Sauber and Aston are the 2 teams who nailed it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you got Mercedes out there who stuffed both their drivers up with their strat.
They come away with 1 measly point.
Yeah. Like, it's funny that it's those 2 teams. Like, all right, fair, even playing field. Sauber at least have a good strategy department.
Yeah,
At least.
yeah.
I mean, they really nailed it. Went to the soft tyres early.
You know,
Took that risk knowing they could make the time back to then take an additional pit stop and still make a gain.
No, it was very impressive. I don't think that this is the beginning of anything.
No, I wouldn't
I
get
think-
carried away.
No, I think this will be very much a one and done type thing. But I'm sure that he's stoked that he got to taste some level of.
He did look out of
Victory.
place, didn't he?
He did. He looked uncomfortable almost.
I love-
Even in the cool down room, it was like
yeah.
it was almost like, should I be here?
Yeah. Like you said it, imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
It's bang on like that. That's what it seemed like. Is that he's like, you know, he's there getting interviewed by JB and he's like, this is great. Like I really haven't been in this spot before.
He's like, JB, I haven't seen you for
Ever.
12 years, 13 years.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. No, it was good. Good job by them. So they're making some of the other teams look very silly. So
I loved how cool he was as well. Like, it's almost like he knew one day it would happen.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't like,
maybe that's what he's
Wow.
hanging on for.
like he wasn't like just stunned, thrilled. It was just almost like it had to happen at some point.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's amazing. Imagine doing 240 races in your career.
Mm.
That's a long time. And you got 1 trophy now.
How do you keep fighting? Or like, I mean, anyone who's in the sport is very lucky, and I think he would consider himself very lucky to have such a career that he did, even if it is only the one
Yeah.
silverware in his cabinet.
I mean, Hamilton's got like 110 first place trophies, probably 100 more second and third place trophies.
well, it's funny, even in the race there, like, he kept Hamilton behind him, and there was a point where I thought, Hamilton will have him easy here. Like Hamilton, like he loves this track, he's very dominant, and there's a part of me that was like, it would be nice to see Hamilton on the podium, in the Ferrari, because that might give him just a little bit of hope that he needs.
It seemed like destiny.
Yeah,
really.
yeah. It almost seemed like he was never going to win it, but he was supposed to be on the podium.
Yeah.
And
Like he
then,
hasn't been off the podium there
yeah.
since 2012 or 2013 or something.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it really
that's right.
seemed like if it's going to happen, and you said it last week as far as the poll goes, which you're wrong. But if it's going to happen, it's
He
going
was
to happen
looking
here.
scary close though for a minute there.
I thought he was on.
Yeah. Do you have anything else to add before we get into the
Nah, you
trophies?
pretty well covered it.
All right. So, final boss. Who awarding that to this week?
The FIA.
That's funny. I had the same thing.
Did you?
So yeah,
How good's that?
legit wrote down the FIA as well.
Gifting the win to Lando.
I knew you weren't going to give it to Lando.
No, God no. I actually had Hulk there at first, and then I
Yeah.
shuffled things around. But
Yeah.
the FIA for gifting that one to Lando Norris.
Yeah, well, I wrote they might be the best governing body in sports at manufacturing results.
Yeah.
So
Like,
this is a great example of it, and everyone knows about Abu Dhabi 2021. People outside of F1 know about Abu Dhabi 2021, and they're getting a bit of a reputation for this. So,
well, honestly, I can honestly say this isn't just a hater thing. This isn't just a he's Oscar's teammate. This is like the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
2 races in a row. Like last weekend, McLaren ensured Lando won that race, clean and clear. This weekend, the FIA ensured Lando wins that race.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I was going to step on a point that I got later on, but honestly, it's just too. It's too perfect that he wins this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it happens the way it does. I mean, he was talking about how good it is winning your home race. It just made me sick knowing he won in Australia. Like, you got a chance to win Oscar's race.
I mean, made the same mistake, right? But somehow managed to.
Yeah, and this is where the
rectify it.
luck comes into it that we keep talking about. Is luck this year? It's luck, man. Like 2 episodes ago, we are talking about can Oscar. He was at 22 points. Can he now extend above a race win?
Yep.
8 points now.
Yeah. Well, Oscar said himself after the Canada incident that it only takes, 2-3 wins, and he's right back up into single digits, which is where he is now.
And it's just not fair either. Yeah, he starts third.
No.
Max drops it in front of him.
It does make you wonder, about scripts. It just makes you think like, every sporting agency had Lando as the favourite to win this year.
Well,
And this is a grid with Max Verstappen still in it. We know how much momentum Piastri had last year, but yet he's the favourite across all sporting odds.
well, actually, I sent you the betting odds last week. Oscar Piastri is favourite to win the championship.
Yeah.
But Lando Norris was somehow favourite to win this race. And you just got to wonder if they've got not this far out, if they've still got Oscar as the favourite, and it was like pretty heavy favourites.
Yeah.
How they're not effectively just putting him in for every win. you know?
Yeah.
So it's
I don't know. It's too convenient, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Noob trophy. So I for this week I had all of the rookies DNF'd, aside from Bayman.
couldn't get a point though, which is a shame.
But he did have his off in practice 3. So he already had his off and got it out of the way. And
Well, he
collected
also
quite a
did he
few-
take out Ocon or did Ocon take out him in the race?
I think. Well, actually, I can't
the
remember.
closing
I think
stages,
he.
one of them
I
took
think
the other
he
one out.
clipped Ocon and they pirouetted together.
But I think
Yeah.
even that Ocon dummied at him,
Mm.
sort of moved across off the line
Yeah.
and sent him down there and it was wet. So
Cardinal sin. They
Yeah.
need to install some papaya rules over there.
yeah,
So
some silver rules. Something.
the rookies, they don't like the rain.
Yeah.
They struggled in Australia and they've struggled here. So
I mean, I'm starting to really hate the wet races. They haven't been kind to Oscar.
no, that's true. Yeah, I mean, watching it on the Discord together, you sort of said like the rain favors Oscar or like the way that the start would kind of neutralize any, I guess.
Well, when they were talking about safety car start, I was like, this is good for Oscar. And again, we almost saw it happen.
Yeah.
When they actually had the start, Lando got the run on him.
Yeah.
Because again, Max, just forced Oscar to the inside. And you have to go there, you know. And then he loses a run. So it nearly did happen. He nearly did lose the spot to Lando straight off the line. But yeah, third seems to be a decent spot to start. I mean, look what Oscar did last week in Austria. Third, again, Lando gets in a pinch with the Ferrari, and Oscar's able to just racing line around the outside.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't have thought there was enough straight at Silverstone to kind of make anything at turn 1, but Lando certainly had a good run.
Yeah.
He's famous for his turn 1 incidents.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he managed this one quite well, and luckily Hamilton was all over him. Luckily Hamilton was
He
putting
took the pressure off Oscar.
on Norris. So yeah, gave Oscar a little bit of breathing room to get himself settled and get after Max there. So who did you have for noob?
So my noob is Yuki Tsunoda.
Okay.
Last place.
That's awfully kind of you. Considering other categories that we have.
Yeah, you're right. I've got other places, other things in there. Yuki Tsunoda back-to-back last place finishes, and he was the only car a lap down. And he got a penalty.
Which is the same as last week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was last with penalties.
Yeah. He's really starting to make Liam Lawson look good, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Like, at least Yuki was meant to be the safe pair of hands.
Yeah.
Not looking that way now.
No,
Like-
who would have picked this, right? Like everyone at the beginning of the season said that Yuki should have got the drive and Lawson shouldn't have. Maybe Red Bull knew something, but then they I guess got peer pressure from the media and from everyone and made a quick hasty decision, and now they're probably looking back at going, "Ah, damn it, we should have just went with our
I
gut
think
feeling."
it was inevitable. I reckon if Yuki started the season, in hindsight, he probably would have had 1-2 rough races, and they go, all right,
And then they flip it to
flip it,
Lawson.
and then Lawson would now be in the car. So I
Mm.
think the driver change was inevitable, and then now they're just trying to steady the ship and get through the year. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I mean, I can't see them making any changes for the rest of the season. I think they're
I mean,
pretty
the
much just
car's
going to ride it off.
Clearly broken. Like, round 1, round 2,
Yes
Max
and
was in
no.
there, so you can still go, the car's good enough.
Yeah.
But we've seen, this is
I
a
don't
glaring
know. Like, how
example.
many times have we said Red Bull, they're a bit of a laughing stock. Their car is undrivable. It's a piece of shit. You got Max constantly berating about how shit the car is. And then he goes and puts it on pole.
I mean, they had to give him a weapon, and then it cost him dearly in the race. Like, he was nowhere. Like, how many times do we see him sliding out of the back end of the Maggots and Beckett's corners?
Yeah.
And then
Yep.
he obviously had his mistake where he just,
It just,
you don't
like-
see Max doing that. He just drops it, and he had no recovery. He's just gone, just spun. Like,
yeah. I mean, we're talking a lot about Max in the noob area. But, yeah, I mean, how is it they can set it up to be just vicious for a one-lap pace for Max? And he can handle that. But just on the race, they're
Yeah.
30, 40 seconds down the road.
Again,
So-
if it was dry, again, maybe he's got the advantage in the straights, and maybe that's a winning recipe. But unfortunately, it was wet.
Yeah.
And you want as much downforce as you can get. So
Okay, buffed trophy. Now this is awarded to Hulkenberg. Pretty much the reasons that we already said. His team gave him the perfect strategy, and he forced a 7-time world champion in a Ferrari at his home Grand Prix to stare at his Sauber booty.
and
So-
you know he wouldn't have been happy about that either.
No, so credit where credit's due. Hulk,
Yeah.
got it done.
So my buffed is regular backmarkers, including Stroll, Hulk, and Gasly, for getting up in and amongst it,
Yeah.
all pretty strongly in the points.
Yep.
Hulk obviously up in third, which is phenomenal for him.
Yeah.
I guess.
And Sauber.
And Sauber.
And was it Mattia? He's probably looking at Ferrari, having a little quiet chuckle to himself, thinking, "You beaut, I've made
Yeah.
you firing me, guys, was probably the best thing that could have happened."
I mean, he's showing that he wasn't the problem,
No,
and that the team managers are not the problem. I mean, that Vasseur guy's probably sitting there. He's probably loving it too. Like, I feel like my seat's pretty safe. This proves that
yeah,
us team leaders, whatever their role is, it's not our fault.
Yeah.
Like, we're capable.
either that or he's going, "Damn it, why couldn't I get the Sauber?" good?"
Yeah. Well, they'll look mighty good coming into with Audi money. I reckon.
Yeah. Yeah, they
They
could
might
actually
just keep going
'cause-
with this form.
with Sauber getting that podium. As it stands right now, Haas are the only team on the grid to have never gotten a podium. So they're the last ones now. And then we've got, obviously,
Oh, yeah, this year?
no, in the history.
Well,
So-
Sauber had a podium.
Sorry?
Sauber had a podium
No,
already.
did they? Okay,
Yeah,
well,
this was their first
okay.
podium since 2012. Like,
Right.
Sauber's,
So either way, Haas still are the only team.
I would have assumed Haas had a podium, hey?
Yeah.
But I guess not.
We'll get Chris to check it.
Yeah.
But,
If you've done, I
it's out
fully
there.
trust your research. I guess.
I wouldn't. It's half baked.
Yeah, very much.
Who was your buffed again?
Backmarkers included.
Backmarkers?
Yeah.
Yep, okay.
Backmarkers, regular backmarkers that are now
Yeah.
up in the mix.
Nerfed. Who did you have?
The FIA again
Wow. Okay.
for their safety cars and virtual safety car decisions.
Yep.
We spoke about this in the Brazil episode.
I feel like you just did, half a job here.
No. I'm going in on the FIA on this.
Yeah.
This is shit. We spoke about in the Brazil retro round how the safety cars used to be pretty rough.
Yep.
The operating of them. Nowadays, and I said in the retelling, that nowadays the safety car is a well-oiled machine. That were the words we used. Everything was just perfect.
Yeah.
This race, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. It's you nailed it with that. They should have just, if they wanted to for safety purposes, bring the safety car out.
Yeah.
VSC it. Bring
They have
everyone
so
down
many
to
tools.
50%, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you did not need to throw it then and there.
No.
And then why is sometimes it's virtual, sometimes it's a full.
This
Why
is
was the safety car out in the formation lap on a dry track?
Yeah. This. You're right. This is exactly the problem. It's the inconsistency of their stewarding. We've seen it in the past, and we're continuing to see it now. and this season has had quite a few moments of those inconsistencies. This is a perfect example. I mean, people can look at the Russell incident behind safety car and say, different circumstances, the safety car lights were on, it wasn't as fast, blah, 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 whatever. It's still basically the same act, right?
Yeah.
One doesn't get penalised, one does. One's British, one's not. Coincidence? I don't know. But then you have things like what we mentioned with the Verstappen kamikazing into George. How is that deemed?
Yeah. I mean, that's a brutal.
Like how is that deemed a 10-second penalty, equivalent to what happened here? It's the inconsistencies that is just.
And we said that was a dangerous precedent that they set with Max. Like, that is now what they have to follow going forwards.
Yeah.
Well, but they won't, which is what we're saying. They won't, but it's what they should do. Precedents should be everything.
Yep.
And it's exactly what McLaren was saying. Like, you know, the precedents from one race ago with whatever Russell did is what it should be now. And how ridiculous to talk about how much you're braking is the difference.
I mean, that's what's even funnier, right? The sport is famous for its precision. We're talking laps within 1,000th of a second. You know, this year we've seen cars like 1 to 15 all under a second in qualifying. Like, the precision is out of this world. This is why this is the best version of motorsport. This is why I don't watch any other version of motorsport. There's plenty out there. You've got NASCAR, you've got Indy, you've got V8s, you've got Le Mans. There's so many racing categories out there. This is supposed to be the pinnacle.
Yeah.
And you're undermining all of that with stupid decisions like this. Like, it just, I feel it hurts the sport more than anything. And that's not just from Australian fans who, you know, obviously we feel for Oscar and we ride or die with him. And we hoped that the result would be different. Like, that's, certainly that plays a part in it. But I wouldn't want to see it ever, like, to anyone. Races should not be decided by penalties like that.
And as we've said before, like, you're silly to bet on motorsport because there's too many variables, including the head of, you know, the FIA running the show. They can just do whatever the fuck they want on the fly. Yeah. With no resolve. You can't really do anything.
Like, if it was a 5-second penalty, I think everybody could have agreed, fair enough. At least he's still in it and they can fight.
Yeah. Like, they just took the race away.
He earned the win. So they nullified it and they knew what they're doing.
And again, it's not like Max crashed into him.
No.
It's not like that caused Max's shit.
No.
And then it's like, oh, you took Max out. You have to. Yeah. No one got taken out as a result of this. Like, it was a nothing incident that they went and just, you know, this championship is clearly going to be all about the 1%ers. We're at 50%. There's 8 points between them. You know, and we've seen swings and roundabouts already between the two of them on how they've gotten here. But here they are now, 8 points apart. Yeah. Things like this race are what's going to be what decides it and throws it up.
Yeah, I mean, it really could come down to one result, right? So,
and it shouldn't be that way.
So for nerfed, I initially was going to give it to Piastri because I think that is literally the definition of being nerfed. But you know, we've spoken about him quite a bit, so I've pivoted and gone with Mercedes. You know, their sort of downfall in form, especially at George's home Grand Prix, was quite severe. So
yeah, and especially since his highs of Canada.
Yeah. So okay, who do you have for Sweaty Tryhard this week?
This is where I have one Lando Norris.
Got him as the Sweaty Tryhard, okay?
Yeah. Well, I feel like as the winner of the race, and you're generally, and I'm really proud of you this episode for not doing it, but you know, you feel the final boss choice be the winner. And I'm glad you've gotten over the hump. That's not required, but I do think the winner needs to be in a generally positive category. So,
sure.
Sweaty Tryhard for the win he didn't deserve, but his name's on the trophy nonetheless.
Do you think he likes winning this way?
I mean, he was stoked.
To his credit, he did eventually, like, well after the race, say that, you know, Oscar was the best out there.
Yeah, and which boohoo. That doesn't win you championships.
And he won basically because of what transpired. But yeah, do you think he likes? Do you think
he was stoked? And like, you'd be stoked winning the race, but you know, it's kind of like last year when Oscar got his first race win at Hungary. He wasn't stoked about that. He wasn't stoked about the circumstances in which he come to win that race.
Right. He wasn't like cheering and acting, like, carrying on.
You've given me this win.
Yeah.
It's a funny thing because he earned that again. If Lando went on to win that, like, hilarious, another notch in this book that Lando's writing. But you know, he wasn't full of joy. He was just like, this is shit. Like,
Yeah.
this is my first race win,
Yeah.
and it comes
And
about in this.
and you've ruined it.
Yeah, it comes about in this way.
That's right, because I had that whole thing about ruined orgasms.
Yeah, and the
If you
priest.
remember? Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
yeah.
I sought your advice on them.
Yeah. They come and go. So yeah, that's why I've got him in the sweet try hard, because he won the race. Woo-hoo.
All right, well, that's enough
He
Lando.
took the checkers.
Yeah. I've got Verstappen as a sweaty tryhard for the week.
Wow. For
Well,
which thing? Pole.
well, not only pole, which like, how do you pull that lap out of his ass? I mean, classic Max doing that.
He's always a risk, isn't he?
Purpled all three sectors.
I was
just-
actually happy. I was like, this is good. Lando being in third, Oscar being in second.
I would have been happy with that.
The only way would have been better is if Oscar's first, Max second, getting that gap.
A little
But
bit of
a whole row between them. I was like, I'm confident.
Yeah. So not only that, he, he still fought off Lando until he just basically had no more grip.
Yeah.
And then dropped, I think, as low as 11th or 10th, and he fought his way back
Yeah, I
up
think he
to
dropped
5th.
to 11th. Yeah.
So, I mean, again, this car is supposed to be a piece of shit,
Yeah.
but it still was better than most cars out there. I mean, whether it's more driver than car, hard to tell. Either
I
way,
think
he pulled
that's
that
the
thing
answer.
back up to 5th.
Yeah.
And even his spin looked controlled. I
Yeah.
mean, the way he was able to just like coerce it back to facing the right way and basically rejoin.
Well, he's got the record
know.
for the most amount of 360s mid-race to come away with a win. So if someone knows how to do it, it's
him.
Maxi Pad.
Your trash bro. Who do you have this week?
The FIA.
Wow,
Yeah, I'm really driving
3
this
out
one
of 10.
home.
You really just didn't want to work too hard this week. did you?
Oh, I was
I was
actually.
going to say to you before, if they come up again,
This is the last one, but
you're only getting half pay for this.
I was actually going to see if I can sneak him into every category. But the problem is we've got like 5 positive categories. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Yeah. Too much work, right?
Yeah. Well,
Mm.
they're not positive. They're not. I mean, it's a corporation. They're
Yeah.
no good
Yeah.
anyway. 10-second penalty for Oscar. That's why they're trash, bro. Because
Mm.
as we've discussed, that could have been 5 or nothing.
All right. Well, I actually, played the game. So I gave it. This is where I gave the trophy to Yuki.
He's trash.
He's trash.
He's
He is
fucking
trash.
trash.
We're seeing the true version of him. I mean,
Like,
the car is undrivable. We can agree on that.
yeah. I mean,
But
he's
how is he
making
at
driver
least
errors,
not-
getting the penalties and stuff. So
Yeah.
that's
It's hurting his case even more.
yeah, that's not acceptable.
Yeah. And again, like, we don't have to go down this rabbit hole, but you think about all the drivers that have gone through who've lost their seat.
I mean,
And
Perez,
aren't there
you might as
anymore.
well kept him in the car.
Perez and Ricardo. They're the two names that stand out as Red Bull dropped the ball there, and
Yeah.
we're seeing the disastrous after effect of those decisions.
And they're
so-
nervous now. They're nervous about what they do with Hadjar.
Mm.
They can see the writings on the wall. I mean, it's one of two things. He could get into that car next year, and if he has this same season, it's like, well, what did you expect?
Yeah.
Or he shines, and that's great. But they're
But-
like nervous about it.
But they're more nervous of losing Max because if they lose Max, they've got nothing.
They
literally
will
have
literally
nothing.
be nowhere.
Yeah.
They'll be coming last and second last.
It could be the true end of the Red Bull era, at least for some time.
Like they've always
know?
been there or thereabouts. They'll
You don't-
snag the race win when they can through the Mercedes era. They've always been like,
It's going to be very fascinating to see where it goes, and I think it does all hinge on Max, right? But I often think about Williams. Williams were a dominant world
you
championship
often
team.
think about Williams.
Just hear me out.
This is interesting. I often don't.
Yeah, they were a dominant team that had some of the best drivers in the world, and you think, how could a team that was at the top of the game have such a big downfall? And like, they're not even mid-pack for years. They'll literally last, you
Yeah.
know, and they should be up there with the likes of McLaren and Ferrari in terms of, experience and longevity and legacy.
Yeah.
And this year we're seeing them a little bit better.
Bouncing
But-
back a bit.
Yeah, but how many years did they just sit on the bottom, right? Is this how it happens? Could
Yeah.
Red Bull take a Williams trajectory and then
I mean, you
to be fair, Ferrari haven't won one since '08.
Yeah.
That's a long time. So, you can't sustain that I guess level of dominance
I guess
for
the
long.
problem is who's lining up to drive that Red Bull now.
Who
And
wants it?
that's what I'm saying. And this is probably the problem with Williams. Once they started showing this massive regress in form, you don't have the Ettonsens, Gillian Prost, and Nigel Mansell's like, yep, give me that car.
Yeah.
They're now getting drivers who their only option is to get drivers who are just going to bring some money in.
Well,
You know?
yeah.
That's exactly what Red Bull are going to be looking at because who's lining up for it?
You watch. Alpine will drop like Colapinto, and then Red Bull will pick him up because he probably does come with a bag and he wants to be in the sport.
Yeah.
And they're probably like, well, we're in a rebuild phase, so come on.
Yeah.
Bring your Argentinian money.
I mean, he was speculated to be in the car for this whole season,
Mm.
you know, because he had such a hot shot start to his career last year.
That's a distant memory, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Hard luck achievement.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you giving it to?
Kimi Antonelli.
Okay, well, not the FIA.
I told you, I'm done with them now. I've moved on. My gripe is settled.
We'll see.
Yeah. Kimi Antonelli getting rear-ended.
Yep.
By, who was it?
Hadjar.
Hadjar, yeah.
Mm.
And Hadjar seemed like he was blaming Antonelli. The car came out of nowhere, man. What was he doing?
Yeah, I've seen the onboards. I mean,
The car
Antonelli
in front,
did look like he was braking very early. He
he has
was
a right to
obviously-
do that.
Oh, 100%.
Where did
Obviously-
Hadjar end up as a result?
Yeah.
Like, maybe he should have braked a little bit earlier.
Yeah. You do watch it on board and you do go, I know it's different in real life compared to a camera, but you do watch it on board and you're like, wow, that Merc just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But yeah,
again,
I think
expect these things.
it was, well, it's inexperience, right? Not having been in that situation before, not really knowing how to play it, and maybe Hadjar had more confidence through that section compared to Antonelli, and then just Antonelli.
But again, just
out
a
of
bit
nowhere.
of awareness. Just that especially that point in time with all that rain.
Yep.
Survival
Yeah,
is the name of the game at that point.
yeah, because you know people are going off. You
Yeah.
know there's positions to be made. So
And we saw Charles go off, George go off. Obviously, Max spun. Oscar went off. Like everyone's doing
okay, my hard luck went to Charles Leclerc.
it. Why?
Couple of reasons. I mean, first of all, P14. So
But is it luck or is it?
hard luck as in like bad luck.
Yeah.
Right.
Was it bad luck?
Bad luck in terms of how. Well, if you let me talk, I'll explain.
Oh,
it to you.
I feel like it's bad strat and
Well-
bad driving.
Bad luck. He's in the Ferrari.
Okay.
What have Ferrari done to this guy? I mean, I don't know if you heard his radio tirade.
Might have his wife and kids or something.
Yeah, I don't know if did you hear his radio tirade? It was basically like 30 seconds of bleeps
Was it he based it on himself?
on
though?
himself. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw a. What was the response? Because I did see a picture, but I thought it was fake.
What do you mean? His response?
No, what was Ferrari's response?
Oh, I didn't see that.
'Cause
Yeah,
I saw a meme and it was his
probably fake.
thing, and then the Ferrari replies was, "Yeah, it's probably the water."
Yeah, yeah.
I figured it was fake, but I
We
was
are
like, that's
checking.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard that he has to leave Monaco.
He has to leave.
Yeah.
Why? Too much of a party boy.
No. Does this look like a man who's partying? This looks like a man who's like,
Depressed.
yeah.
Depresto.
After his self-deprecating radio tirade cost him so much money, I don't think he can
Oh,
afford
yeah.
to live there now. I
No,
think
well,
he's-
here's the thing, right? Like you said, it was a beep city.
yeah.
Norris swore live in the post and
He
was
knew it
chuffed
too.
about it.
Yeah, he
And
knew it
Jensen was
too.
like, well, I'll just apologise to you. I'll apologise to the fans, you grub, for just popping off like that.
Yeah, he knew.
And he was just like, oh, yeah, well, it's like, you know what? That, if I've, this whole swearing thing they brought in, all right, if they can control it with the team radios and putting bleeps in, sure.
Yeah.
But then if you're caught out, you have no self-control and you're caught out swearing live on TV,
Yeah.
And now they can't trust you to have live interviews or whatever, that is when you need to be. And now I'm all for it because they fucking penalise the guy, give him a week off or whatever.
Good point. He knew it too because he hesitated before he said it.
But he was
And then he
chuffed
dropped
about it. It
Yeah.
wasn't like, oh, it's
Yeah.
upset with the excitement. He was just like, yeah.
Or even when Jensen apologized for him, he was like, "Oh yes, of course, yes, I'm
Yeah.
sorry too, yes." Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Tongue,
No.
wink, wink.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like they know the FIA are bluffing.
Yeah.
Of course they're bluffing.
Yeah.
Of course they'll set a rule and they won't follow it.
Well, hopefully they don't bring it back in because,
Oscar's
Leclerc
about
will have
get
to-
angry as well.
Leclerc will have to mortgage his house and yeah. AFK. Who do you have?
Liam Lawson's spatial awareness.
You love just getting this guy in anywhere you can.
I do.
We almost made it through a whole episode without really talking about him.
And you could have because he fucking DNF'd on that one. So
Yeah.
we really could have gone through it without a minute.
There was no point really to bring him up, but here you are. I think
What
you have a
really-
thing. I think you have a thing for this guy.
What really bugs me is that he blames everyone else. And I go through it. I went through it in the speedrun, but he that was not Ocon's fault.
No.
If anything, you can blame the car on the very inside, but he too has a right to be there.
Which was Yuki.
That sucks. He has a right to be there regardless.
Yeah.
The car on the outside can't just swoop across
No.
and just think he's entitled to the whole entire racetrack.
Yeah, what does he
But
think?
then he comes across and goes, you could come out of nowhere, bro.
It's like he thinks everyone would just let him pass.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're on the outside there? No,
Why would
go,
you
go
chop
through.
on lap 1 or straight across to the apex?
Mm.
But special awareness, expect someone there at the minimal.
Yeah. I'm surprised with your choice there, to be honest. Like, that's a bit weak. Like, yeah, I get it. Throw a pot shot at Lawson. No worries.
What do you got?
I'm going
The
after
FIA?
Colapinto here.
No,
I mean, he literally- he literally
he survived on lap
DNS'd.
1. No, he
Did
got
he?
out on track.
Oh, did he? Oh,
He's-
okay.
He stalled in the pit lane.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
Apparently, he took off in second gear.
Right. And what, did a lap in second gear?
No, like he started,
Yeah, right.
but then when he went to leave the pits, he was still in second and he stalled.
Mm.
And then for whatever reason, I don't know, the car
They
didn't
couldn't-
refire.
Yeah, okay.
And that's it.
Well, I mean, that's how away he was. I didn't even know that happened. I just thought he didn't make it out there, and that was it. Game
No,
over for him.
no,
But
He fucked it himself. It was his fault.
well,
AFK is still correct.
he's come out and said he's not very concerned about losing his seat, and I'm starting to think maybe he should be, because there
How
was
much
a
does
lot.
money talk?
Well, there's a lot of rumors swirling. Like, obviously, you know, I'm throwing him out there because there's 2 Aussies lined up for his seat. There's 2 Aussies swirling around.
Well, who's
Obviously,
the other one?
Bottas.
Okay, yeah. Fair. Again.
But that would actually be a good signing. I don't know how much racing Bottas still has in him, especially.
Oh, he's young. It's another one of the Ricardo type deals where it's like, this guy's on the spot.
Yeah, but sitting a year out, like, what does that do to you?
Oh, a lot of
The
drivers
only-
have done
the
it.
thing that he has
Ocon
in his
sat
favour
a year
is
out, like
the-
it's common.
Well,
Fucking
the thing he
Oscar
has-
sat a year out, his rookie
yeah,
year.
but at the beginning of his
yeah,
career.
yeah.
The thing that he has going for him is the change of regs. So that kind of resets everyone back onto like a somewhat level playing field.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's not.
I mean, Alpine, whatever, are they not using Renault engines next year as well?
I don't know. I don't really follow them.
I think
too closely.
they're ditching their own engine. They're
Mm.
gonna, which is probably a good thing. Like, it's
Yeah.
not never been in their strong suit. Renault
Yeah.
is the engine.
Mm.
I think they're going to be bringing in probably a Merc or something.
Yeah, okay. Side quest.
Side quest.
Who do you have?
So I've got the 25 British wins and 75 years of Silverstone.
I had that in Easter egg. So
Tell me that.
yeah, please explain. Please explain
Please explain.
Formula One.
Like we've
Yeah.
got. I'm going to just spitball 40 years maybe of Australian
And we haven't seen
racing and not
one.
one. Can't even touch the podium.
Yeah, yeah, true.
Not one win.
Even though actually the one time they did, they went, "Oh, that was a mistake."
Yeah, exactly.
Off you get.
Brits have won 33% of the British Grand Prix, and like, no, it was just Silverstone, just the Silverstone race. How is that happening? Like,
Someone's got to look into this. Like how? I mean, I get that we had an era of Hamilton.
Yeah, you've got 9 of
dominance,
them.
and that's a good chunk of them. But I don't know. It's too suspicious.
well, what
who's,
is it?
Who's
13?
winning 1 every 3 of their home race? That's
Yeah.
just.
Well,
just
you said,
doesn't
you know,
happen.
you brought it up before we saw the numbers. You brought up last week the curse of the home race, and I said not for the Brits. Like,
Yeah, we even knew without even really knowing.
yeah,
To
like
what
it doesn't
degree.
doesn't seem to appear to them. I mean, Jenson Button won it. Obviously, Lando's now won it. Mansell won it. I think it was 13 drivers have won. 13 Brits have won the British Grand Prix.
It's crazy to think as well. Like names like Verstappen has only won it once.
Yeah,
You know, and you think about like, I mean, how dominant he was in that kind of
The
4-year
last 4 or
period
5 years,
as well,
yeah.
and he only pulled 1 win out. Too convenient.
Yeah.
Someone needs to investigate.
there's
this.
got to be there's something going on there. I
They
don't know
almost
what.
were operating in the shadows, and now they've shown themselves, and now the whole world's going, hang on a second, 1 in 3 races a win won
Yeah.
by a Brit. What's going on here?
No other track would have that record.
No,
There's
no,
been
that's unheard of.
there's been Michael Schumacher's, Sebastian Vettel's. There's been Germans that have got 10 world championships between them,
Yeah.
or more, like 11. I bet you they don't have a winning percentage.
Mm,
Percentage, you got to work in percentage because Silverstone's been there from the start.
sure.
I bet you their percentage is lower about winning
Yeah.
at German. And yeah, there was a point in time where there was 2 German Grand Prix.
yeah.
Nürburgring and the
That's-
Hockenheimring or whatever.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, and I bet you their win percentage is still lower.
Well, I guess like Ferrari, they've always kind of had a lot of Italians through the team, and there've been multiple Italian races.
Mm.
So it'd be interesting to see what their home race win percentage is as well. So
I can't think of any successful Italians that have raced for the team certainly in the last 30 years.
yeah, okay.
Maybe prior. Definitely prior, but
Well, that was my Easter egg. So going back to side quest, my side quest, I was giving this to Nigel Mansell.
yeah, I was gonna give my Easter egg to Nigel Mansell and Jackie
Hey.
Stewart.
Yeah, okay. Good to see him. The man, the myth, the mustache.
It was just like three pals hanging out
Yeah.
when
it was-
Brundle went up to him, and it was Brundle, your mate there, and Jackie Stewart
yeah,
just
I'm
palling
like-
around.
I'm surprised that we haven't really seen more of them around here and there. And even when they showed him at first, I almost didn't recognize him.
He doesn't have the mo. He's got a full beard going on.
Yeah. So, it's always kind of a bit funny / sad to see them so old now, but it's great that they're still around.
Yeah.
Like that's the Formula One has changed so much, especially in the last 5-6 years. It has really shifted into a new identity.
Yeah.
So seeing these guys, they don't almost feel a part of the world. So I think it's nice to have him there because it is that touch point of like what it used to be, what it was once like.
Yeah.
Even if I'd love to know his thoughts on how the race transpired.
Well, he gave
just
a
as a-
shout out to Oscar pre-race.
Yeah.
He's a fan of Oscar.
Yeah. Well, I think they have similarities maybe to how they approach their races. But, what did he say? Like, back in my day, the safety car never would have come out and babysat us for
Yeah.
5 years. It's like, no way.
Yeah.
So love to have sat next to him and seen how he found
It's funny with
the,
Brundle.
the bias Grand Prix.
I don't often watch extracurricular Formula One stuff. I normally click on 5 minutes before the race starts and go from there.
Yep.
But yesterday I did watch the whole grid walk order. His people he was most interested in was that Sheila gave him a hug.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to let her go.
Yeah.
And
that's true.
then the old gang.
Well, they
Everyone
certainly-
else was kind of like, yep, cool, yep, sweet, no worries, see you later.
Well, they certainly made sure that they got let everyone know that Hollywood was there.
Oh,
They
yeah.
focused on all of those guys. They didn't even get to talk to a driver. Like
Yeah.
the grid walk
Yeah.
has literally shifted to let's just flex all of the celebs that are at our event now. And
Yeah. It feels
we
like
don't
a
even-
New York
We don't
Knicks
even
basketball
hear
game.
from the drivers or
Yeah.
rarely the team bosses. It's only when it's at like you go to Austria, no one turns up to Austria. There might be like
Arnie
one-
ain't even there.
yeah, there might be like one dude there.
Yeah.
Which I think was Eric Banner. But then an event like this, they use it to just flex all over the place. So
Yep. I mean, obviously, lots of Brad Pitt and the other guy.
that wrapped everything up.
So my Easter
you
eggs there,
had your-
Colapinto stalling a pit lane was the reason for his DNF, which is just
In your Easter egg
Serious?
category, interesting choice.
another feather in the cap. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was something different. I had nowhere.
You have half-assed this. You are getting half pay. I might even dock you completely.
I'm just waiting for you to pay me at this rate.
Okay, ranked.
All
so
right.
I'll go through mine first this week.
Mhm.
So I'll rattle them off, bronze to diamond,
Mhm,
in the
mhm.
order I have, and then you can give me your thoughts and your feelings.
I'll-
You know,
I'll
try
see
to
if-
try to contain your
I'll
anger
see
this
if I
week,
can let
'cause-
you get through it.
Yeah, you get fired up.
But you just don't
big
make
fella
sense.
gets you get
It just doesn't make sense. That's all.
Well,
I want a trustworthy podner.
Well, your list is boring most of the time, so I got to do
My
something
list is
to
generally
spice it up.
pretty. Well, you're telling me my achievements is off the scale, no good. I'm trying to throw some.
Your
some
Easter egg was
curveballs.
Colapinto stalling in the pits.
Yeah.
Come on, you can do better than that. Don't make
Well,
me get,
I
don't make
can't. I
me-
can't just
Am I gonna
keep
have to run
putting
this
in
pod solo?
personalities every single week, like you.
You know,
It's not the
sometimes
personality.
Some weeks
achievement.
they're the most interesting thing.
Yeah.
All right, bronze, Verstappen. Not much to say. Max doing Max things. I think he earns a spot on the top 5. Silver goes to Gasly. P6. I know what you're thinking. I saw the look. I felt the look. Just contain it.
I'm trying.
Ease up.
I'm keeping quiet.
Ease up.
You're right.
Any other
Explain
race?
to me. Explain to me why he's the 4th best driver on the grid.
Any
Speaking.
other race, he's getting more limelight.
I was-
He put his Alpine, arguably probably the shittest car, on the grid in 6th.
I think they are.
So they did manage to not completely balls up the whole thing. Obviously got him on a good strat. He still had to do it. I think he just lost 5th to Verstappen on the last lap. So he
Yeah,
almost
I
got
saw
a
that.
top 5 as well.
Look how
and-
excited you are.
And he pipped Stroll, thank God, because Stroll was getting dangerously close to a podium, and we just could not have that. I was
Well,
like,
I can
I
only
was like,
hope-
the pod's cancelled if we have to talk about Stroll getting a 3rd place.
So would you have put Stroll in silver if he had held on to that spot?
well, we're not talking about that because he didn't do it.
So one spot is the difference between in your list and just completely off it, banished.
Where'd he finish? 8th.
Yeah.
Who cares? He's, as far as I'm concerned, he's in a better car than Gasly. And
Factually, that's
he actually had a real shot at getting a podium, and then he just
no, he didn't.
Maybe he didn't.
If anyone else was in the car in that position, yes.
Yeah,
But
okay,
Lance
fair
Stroll
enough.
didn't.
Yeah. Look, okay. I would have put him in the rankings for not rear-ending someone under safety car conditions.
Yeah. And then blame that
And
car.
then blame that driver.
Yeah.
You know, I'm pretty sure he's still blaming Ricardo for some of the shit that he's done.
And Ricardo still steamed up about it.
Yeah.
That's actually just really pissed me off.
Yeah. Gold.
I started to calm down. All right. Yeah, what do you got?
Gold. Norris. Getting a bit worried. He might actually fall ass backwards into a WDC. So, you know, he still had to be there. Basically, whoever was the third driver would have won that race, and it was him. So, congratulations, I guess. Platinum goes to Piastri. Elite pace in the wet. Looked like the most comfortable and the best driver out there. Having a great car obviously helps, and McLaren is still delivering him an excellent car.
I actually really feared you weren't going to have Oscar on the list.
No, of course I have. Of course I've got him on the list. Now, I've said it probably every week. When he has a bad race or a race he feels like has gone against him, he comes back with force.
I do feel like this is starting to go against you, though, because you
I'm
say that
telling
every
it-
week.
I'm saying it now. He's winning Spa. He's winning Spa, okay? Mark my words.
I'll just say, honestly, and I hate to say this out loud, Norris has been pretty good at Spa in the past.
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
But
Piastri will be better.
Yeah.
Piastri is going to counterpunch. He's going to have a little, just enough luck to come back his way.
Yeah.
I think if anything, right? Surely Norris is aware of how good Oscar's pace is. That has to scare him.
it's the pace. That's the thing. Did he
That
get
has
the
to
fastest lap?
He did, yeah, he did.
And he did it
Yeah.
last week as well.
Mm-hmm.
And
He can't. Luck will run out. There is a point where luck will run out, and you will have to actually do the thing that you need to do to win.
I mean, I said it.
And whether he can do that,
I said it last week. If Lando wins this championship, it's 90% luck, and this will be the only one he gets. Oscar's proved he's got the skill and the pace.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, the gods are against him, and he'll be in
Anyway.
debt after that.
this is my list, and I got one more
Come on.
driver.
Fernando
Diamond
Alonso.
position. You-
Gabriel
no,
Bortoleto.
That would. I don't want to see you get a chub. All right, just calm down. All right. Hulkenberg,
Oh,
channeling his inner Sunny Haze.
That's a good, yeah.
You like
old,
that one?
Old fella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Old fella.
Old fella. He's an old fella. He
Yeah.
just looks so out of place up there. That was the best part.
He
I
did.
mean, he was just stoked to be there.
He was stoked. Yeah,
I mean-
good on him.
You look at that podium and you go, Oscar's up there. He's fuming. He's sad. He's like, fuck
Yeah.
this. And he's
Yeah.
second. He's ahead of Nico. Nico's like, this
Yeah.
is great. Look at this. This is fantastic.
And what does he get for his efforts? A Lego trophy.
Was it actually Lego? Like I saw, like it's Lego.
Actually, a Lego.
No.
It was. Yeah. Some things should just be left alone. Like why? Like I know we
Give him
live.
silverware.
I know. Yeah. I know we live in like just a corporate world where everything is all about consumerism, and Lego and F1 are just going hard right now.
Yeah.
But some things should just be left alone. Give the man
Well-
a bronze third place trophy.
Well, here's the funny thing. Most drivers, if not all drivers, don't get to keep their trophies.
no, it's
It's in
usually
their
the
contract
team,
to give it to the team.
Yeah.
But I wonder, because Sauber is Sauber, haven't had a podium in 13 years, do they even bother?
yeah.
Like, imagine you're rocking up as Nico Hulkenberg, I don't get to keep the trophies again this year.
Well, they probably took one look at it and went, yeah, you can have this one.
Well, that's what I wonder. It's like, does he not even get to keep
Like,
it? Or
they're
is
like,
his
This
contract?
thing's probably worth $20.
Yeah. They were like, yeah, we're not getting a podium. Like, so just delete that completely from our line.
Yeah.
In the contract, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And then he gets to keep it. It's a Lego trophy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like it. It's pretty cool. But
Yeah.
he would have demanded some silverware.
Well, his one and only trophy, and it's Lego.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's stoked either way.
Yeah.
Right, hit me with your list.
All right. So bronze, I've got George Russell. Purely
I did not expect that.
for his move on Lewis at turn 1.
All
I
right,
mean,
fair play. That was good.
Just the image alone was awesome.
Yep.
All you see is a Ferrari through the spray. That's all you can see.
I was concerned. There was 9 other drivers that finished ahead of him, but I'll pay that. That was a good move.
Yeah, it was awesome. It looked awesome. Great
Yeah.
TV. And then the Mercedes just appears.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Lewis made him pay. He showed him who's the real daddy around here. But
Which kind of goes more into
But
why he deserves this.
his
So,
move was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really taken it to Hamilton.
Yep.
Whenever he can.
Next,
Lewis Hamilton in silver.
fair. I did consider putting him in my top 5. He did race a good race, but still finished behind the Sauber.
Yeah, he did. I mean, the fourth is a massive upgrade on on pace
Fifth,
from where he's been.
6th.
Now, gold. I was just like, why have I put this driver here? It's a bit left field. Charles Leclerc.
Okay, now this is
Yeah.
this
No.
is going to take some explaining.
So, the 2 moves on the Williams, I love it. I love that shit. Where that same corner, 3 or 4 laps apart, just sends it up the inside and make the Williams get out of the way.
Every week you give me shit for my list about being like not authentic or
Yeah.
not true to who the best drivers are,
Yeah.
and you're giving
I think
Charles
Charles
Leclerc,
Leclerc
who finished 14th for
Yeah.
a move on a Williams.
2 moves,
and
identical, great,
He's still on
great passing moves.
He's still on a Ferrari. Yeah?
Who? Tell me, who did Lando pass? Ever?
Well, on
At
the
all?
on the race,
At all? At any point?
he drove past Max while he was spinning
Spinning.
off
Yeah. And then how did he pass Lando? Oscar?
with the help
Because
of
the
the
pits, because he was in
FIA.
the pit lane.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he didn't pass any cars.
So
At
where
all.
do you have him then?
I fucking don't. For what? For turning up
Yeah.
on Sunday and driving.
Yeah.
Cool stuff. You said yourself, me and you could go and do that.
Nah.
So I don't
Charles should be
believe
in
he
there.
is a top 5 driver for
Alright.
literally lucking into everything.
Well, we're not talking
Um,
about Lando. We're
We're
talking
not,
about
which
Charles.
is so why are you talking about Lando right now? I'm just saying Leclerc. You put him in a bad. You said he had bad luck, hard luck all race weekend, driving for Ferrari, bad strategy, all the rest of it. He did what he could as the racing driver in the car, passed the cars ahead of him.
Yeah, it's just unfortunately
violently-
he drives for Ferrari.
Yeah, and that's that's hard luck. You put
even
Nico
put him-
Hulkenberg every week, he comes ninth.
You even put him above George, who finished 4 places ahead of him.
George had one good moment. Charles had 2.
Okay.
All right,
What did I say
platinum.
last week? That I might just do these lists myself. I might have to.
Platinum. I've got Oscar Piastri.
So
So did you,
We
so-
yep. So I don't know.
Diamond. I've got Nico Hulkenberg.
I
I was gonna throw
think
you
we
a
know.
dummy name, but I couldn't actually.
No,
think
because
of
you already
any other
burned them all
name.
before.
Yeah,
Getting all excited.
yeah. Nico Hulkenberg.
Yeah, no, it was well deserved. He raced a good race.
So
Okay. Sunday sesh.
all right. So on this day, something happened. The 2008 Silverstone Grand Prix. I'm gonna ask you-
2008.
2008. Yep. I'm going to ask you a question.
Mm-hmm. No, that's
Some
usually how
hints.
these go.
Give you some hints. If you
Yep.
get it right, which you won't. I've really tried to really enforce that. You're a Formula One purist.
Mm-hmm.
If you get it wrong, you're a Drive to Survive / F1 movie, which I might delete that because that's pretty good. Drive to Survive fanboy.
Yeah, are you adding F1 movie? You didn't
had
consult. You didn't consult
I
me
have
about
been
this.
every week, but I've just removed it for this week because we won't watch it, and we'll
So
get
you-
to that next week.
You can't just go off on your own. And do
I've
stuff.
been adding it every week. So what's your gripe now?
Well, I don't really pay attention to you a lot of the time,
Okay.
and that's probably
That's
my
probably why
fault.
you keep getting these wrong.
Probably my fault. Yeah.
Anyway, our box bashers get a point in the other column
Mm-hmm.
for whatever you do.
Okay.
All right, so the 2008 Silverstone Grand Prix was run. 3 different drivers got pole, fastest lap, and the race win.
Mm-hmm.
Who were those drivers?
Why are we now making it about 3 drivers?
I'm trying to find something. I'm not just going to go who won the race, and then you'll just get it. And
Well,
that's no fun for
You
anybody.
couldn't just pick one of those categories?
No.
I don't even know 3 drivers who are racing
And I've got
back
3
then.
hints for you.
All right. So
Go, do you
was
want
it
me to make it easy
win,
for you?
was it
The
win,
pole
pole,
position,
and
the
fastest
pole,
lap?
and the fastest lap. 3 different drivers got each accolade.
All right. And what, I have to line up the driver to the accolade, or just?
You can just say the drivers, and I'll tell you what they did if you get the driver right.
All right. So give me the first hint then.
Drivers who got pole and the fastest lap were the same nationality.
All right. So I'll say. Wait. If I say now, are you going to hold that as a guess?
No, you can have all 3 hints.
Okay. Well, because I'll think out loud, and I'll say right there. I'll say Hamilton and Button. I'm just seeing if you have any kind of reaction. So yes. Anyway, I've just got those in the chamber.
Just so I don't give you,
I haven't pulled the trigger, but they're
I don't
in
want
the
to give you a
chamber.
bum steer.
Yeah.
Hamilton is on this list. Button is not.
Okay. All right. So, what's your second hint then?
It was the race winner's 7th career win.
Yeah, that doesn't really tell me much either, does it?
You need all 3 hints. You really do.
7 is kind of a nothing number.
Yep.
So,
I'm not gonna lie. I thought you would know who won this race, and then that would kind of really key in the elements here.
Yeah, like I can sort of like, I know Webber's won 2, but the problem is you've already told me that for 2 of them they're the same nationality. There was only one Aussie,
The pole and the
Hamilton's on
fastest
there.
lap. The pole sitter and the fastest lap
the pole sitter.
Driver.
Yeah,
share a nationality.
yeah. So 2 different drivers from the same country.
Neither of them won the race.
Yeah, and we already know it can't be UK.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not
Yeah.
Button. Button's on this list. So.
Yeah. Okay, so third hint.
The driver with the fastest lap is Finnish. The driver on pole was the winner's teammate. So I'm giving you everything you need here.
Yeah, just shut up for a second.
Think.
So the driver on pole was Finnish.
The driver with the fastest lap was Finnish.
Yeah.
The driver on pole was the winner's teammate.
Okay, so Lewis Hamilton won. Okay, I need a paper. I need a pen and paper.
I've really given you a riddle.
And then I'm gonna obviously the only Finnish driver I really know is Kimi Räikkönen.
This is playing out exactly how I thought it was going to.
Yeah, so you are giving me a bump stare.
No.
Okay.
This is. I knew you'd be pretty well lock those two in.
Okay, and so that means that the other guy has to be Finnish. I don't know that many Finnish guys, but you said it's a teammate.
Teammate of the winning car.
The winning car. Which means I'll have to try and think of who was Lewis's teammate.
Mhm.
And that makes me think like Mika Hakkinen. But I don't even know if they were teammates. Like that just sounds Finnish. And I know he's from that era.
Finnish.
He is Finnish? Yeah. So I'll lock those three names in.
Yes. Son of a bitch. You got it wrong. Heikki Kovalainen.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that.
No.
Yeah.
This is played out exactly how I wanted it to.
So wait, he won?
He got the pole position. Kimi
got
Räikkönen
pole.
got the fastest lap. Lewis Hamilton won the race.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So I thought for sure you were like,
deciphered Lewis got.
yeah, I thought for sure you knew that he won the race.
Thanks for blowing my eardrums too, by the way.
I apologize for that, everybody. I've really gone this far with that.
The Lando win really made you sick, didn't it?
It did. It's really hurt me in many ways. But yeah, that was perfect. I set that up knowing you only really have to get one driver, but it'll give you a real riddle to get there.
Kind of bullshit if you ask me, because I mean I got two.
Yeah.
And like all of a sudden we're just you're just going on your own. You're just doing whatever you want.
This is my category.
We've gone from
do you want to start doing this and I'll guess?
To three drivers.
Okay, so every race, every time I pull up one of these things, you want me to just say, "Oh, who won this race?" And then when I say, "Oh, he's British,"
No.
oh, and he's won 7 championships. How hard is that? This is how I was doing it, and then you just got off to like a 4 or an 8 streak.
What's wrong with who's the guy that I didn't know?
Heikki Kovalainen.
Kovalainen. What's wrong with where did he come again?
He got pole.
Okay. What's wrong with going? Who was the 2008 pole sitter?
Because you wouldn't have got it. At least people can think
I still
you know
didn't
something of what. Yeah, but at least people would think you know half what you're talking about.
All right. Fair enough.
I wouldn't have been able to set him up in a way because I didn't think you knew who he was, which is why exactly I laid it out.
No, I do know the name, but I wouldn't be able to put a face to the name.
Yeah, 2008 was long past Mika. I think he retired in 01 or something like that.
Yeah.
But that was a safe guess. I thought you'd go there. Look, being McLaren especially, you'd race for McLaren.
Yeah. Did he win any races, Kovalainen?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
My biggest memory of him is racing
even
for
more,
Caterham.
Even less chance of me remembering him. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he ended his career in like Caterham, who probably went bust.
Yeah. All right. That wraps up the 2005 Bias Grand Prix
2005.
to 2025.
We're doing a retro.
I'm still in the I'm in that era, the Kovalainen era.
Better times.